Hi everyone, welcome back. This time, I am trying to take the risk of talking about this certain part in this episode, which is about physical closeness, much more further in depth descriptions. I have been contemplating whether to talk about this topic initially, but because it is kind of a big part of the storyline in these poems, for this time I am taking another risk to talk about this. I believe physical closeness is an important factor in any type of relationships, or for this case, whenever we are attracted to a person. By the way, in my podcast, I am not able to tell you what to do and what not to do when you are dating or flirting because I don't think I am experienced or knowledgeable in that area to give professional suggestions. You can actually check in the internet. There are a lot of other YouTubers and podcasters who are very good at this. In fact, I myself will look into their videos whenever I need more information. You can check out some of my favorite YouTubers like Rose and Rosie, Alexis and Lillian, Kimmy Scott, Amy Ottman, and many others for anything related to WLW relationship. I have never stood still staring at someone else like how I did yesterday with you. You were on your motorbike, riding in the lot, passing among the others, making your gorgeous self known to everyone. My heart stopped beating. I could not stop smiling the whole time since you arrived. Surprisingly, my brain and the blood pumping to my heart could still function the whole time my eyes were fixated on you. You never stopped smiling after you got off from your bike with Chris. When you walked towards us, I had to stop holding my breath to revive my whole being again. That beautiful, dimpled smile of yours. You look so beautiful under the dim street light. Charming and stunning. That smile could probably warm anyone from the cold winter. To be physically attracted to someone is not unusual, but what about when something else in your body felt different? The first time I have felt this was during one of those nights we went out together, holding hands, brushing fingers, standing so close were and are still common, which I feel like I will do with friends who I am comfortable with, but most of the times are with those I am interested in. But with her, it was something else. I remember that night clearly, and I could still remember how she would smile while she was on her yellow motorbike. That was the first time I couldn't take my eyes off her. I didn't even say hi to her when she approached me because I was enticed by her eyes looking at me. She didn't even look at me. She didn't even look at her friend who was standing beside me. And then throughout the night, we sat so close together while we were entertained by the live music at Timber. This same feeling and moment occurred very often whenever I was with her. I will hold her hand whenever I had a chance to, even though at times I will control myself in case it will be uncomfortable for her. So what I realized is that our physical touches usually happen naturally. We still continue the same, even though once or twice it seems like she did not like it when I am too close to her. So when someone is not comfortable, you have to learn to distance yourself, like learn to read the room and what are the responses by the person you are with. I feel like this is important to just make sure that we are not selfish and not making others feel uncomfortable around us. I did speak to a friend about this, like Harry and a few others who are straight. Harry told me that if this happened between him and a girl, it is very much clearer, and he wonders why it is so complicated for us. He meant it in a good way though, because when he is with girls he went out with, they showed signals and it meant what it is. I also took the opportunity to ask my friends who are women similar questions whether do they hold hands like that with their closest girlfriends whenever they behave the ways I explained to them. And their reply were normally like, no, they don't. They are so close in some way. They are close in some way, but they don't hold hands like that. Actually, neither do I with my other friends. The only ones I did hold hands very long, like how I did with this girl I am talking about, could be like so far 2 or 3 people. Not as often. Maybe like once in a blue moon when we are playing around or kidding around. Yeah. So yeah. We left you behind. I heard you whispering, like pleading behind me. I gave up my egotistical view of the possibilities of why you disappeared these past years. I turned to you, held your back, and let you walk ahead instead. My core chops thinking of that moment. And and only recently, and only recently, whenever I imagine myself with her, I knew this is not only about me interested in her. I want her in many other ways. It became more intense after that night in the rooftop. Okay, imagination is one thing which we all can be fantasizing, but when it happened in real life, that is another story. What do you have to do? How do you have to react? Should you play hard to get? Should you play hard to get? Do you have to remind yourself, what if she breaks your heart again? The impact of that one night makes a lot of difference on how I handle things. That is one way I learned. So those physical touches, like what I had said, is very significant in a relationship. But how about text messages that you send to each other? Those texts not only about how are you, or how is your day, but also sharing photos of what both of you are eating, what you are cooking, what you are doing. It is not once in a while, it is very often. How about making you feel special? Inviting only you to her home and cook for you, chatting until 1:30 a.m. and finding reasons to meet? And those kinds of actions are those that can be confused between being attracted to romantically and whether these are just what friends do with each other. So, what I would like to say here is that these moments that happen could be as what it is. Like if you ever experience the same thing, you will be wondering how to differentiate it and limit yourself from crossing the friend zone boundary. But like I mentioned earlier, physical touches are more important, that it affects how we feel towards the other person and vice versa. We cannot control another person on how they behave towards us. Like if you are angry, thinking that, hey, if you are straight, don't make use of the weakest link to make me get attracted to you. Or hey, if you are married or have a boyfriend, please don't act like that with me. What I can say here is, it is not easy to tell that to people. One, for sure, we have no idea what they are thinking or feeling. Second, maybe for them, the physical touches is just what friends do, or affection towards friends, in which this is kind of a normal gesture sometimes. Thirdly, since we cannot control others, we have to learn to control ourselves, especially the part to stand back up again once you fall. Don't ever let yourself think that you are not worth it. If that someone says to you, no, I don't feel the same way, or I am actually tense when I am with you. Okay, wait. Just a few days ago, I just realized something. Someone did say to me before, and I wonder why. Because I am known as the most calmest person within my friends. Okay, my friends always told me that even if I had presentation in class, or even when I have my first sales meeting with a minister from Indonesia, I was so cool. I managed to handle my nerves discreetly. Then I realized something after binge watching TikTok videos and Blackpink video diaries recently. Suddenly this thing came into my mind. If someone is tense when they are with you, could it be butterfly in the stomach? Like how I always do when I have a date with the girl I like, or a lunch appointment with my best friend who I am interested in. So, by the way, this is how you manage and pull yourself back up, okay? I mean, I am not sure about my analysis whether it is correct, but with that kind of answers, at least it will brighten your day and you don't feel disappointed or upset. As you know, normally heartbreak is very difficult, but remember, there are so many other interesting things to do in this world than just that. There are other beautiful, smarter, more breathtaking women out there who could be that one person. If that girl you like has no interest in you and don't value you, remember that valuing yourself is more important. Not only now, but for the next 1 or 2 months later, a year later, 3 years later, and so on. But of course, there is a limit though. Once they started to kiss you, specifically on the lips, or do other things with you that you don't do with your friends, and then ended up saying that they actually don't feel the same way, then all these conditions does not apply anymore. Then we have to talk about this in a different perspective. I mean, emotionally, you deserve to be furious about that. Other than that, I would suggest, like a friend, you manage this wisely. I have so many questions before I wrote the ending of this book. Questions to myself whether I am imagining things, whether I had overanalyzed and therefore misinterpreting everything just because I like her differently. I have even looked it up in internet to find out about the answer. One was a video by Alexis and Lillian, and another is an article that is common for people to overanalyze when they like someone, although actually it might not mean anything on the perspective of the other person. So, what happened is that Alexis and Lillian's video struck me more because it was the exact scenario I had with her that night at the rooftop bar. So, their video was this: when a friend you like is drunk and do all those things to you, it doesn't mean they are interested in you. Yeah, very disappointing. When they are straight, they are straight. It does not mean they are not straight, even though their actions look like they aren't. Those are the advice that were hard for me to accept initially, but I did keep it in mind over the period. I even shared this video to Harry, and he was shocked too that the scenes were so accurate. Sometimes, the hardest thing to decide especially is when there is that hidden desire that you know you do not mind if it is with her, when you realize that you started to look at her in a way that she is not just a friend. Then you started to imagine how her hair would feel like twirl on your fingers. You want to know what her eyes colors are. You want her to hold your hands tight when you are in the train, ignoring any glances and perceptions. You will be asking yourself why you want to know why her lips is now fresh pink compared to 7 years ago. You hated it when she sent you pictures, but on the other hand, you want her to stop sending you pictures of her posing with her coffee cup, which she always placed on her long, slender bare legs. And then you want to know why she always appears in your dreams. So sometimes the answer to these questions are right in front of us. How we interpreted it would be actually up to us. Alright guys, I would like to end this episode with this letter written in Letters of 1,000 Speeches. I miss you. That is the only thing that came to my mind in the past few days. For the first time ever, I could not hold hands with this friend of mine whom you had asked for my address. Both of us are usually physically close. Holding hands comes naturally when we are together. It does not matter whether she is with her partner or not. But yesterday, I could not. We held hands, but I felt like mine could only do so for a few seconds. There is this energy that is repelling us. I could feel she noticed it too. So I gave it another chance and another moment. But the same thing happened. I had to let it go. Is it because of you? Truly, this has never happened to me before. Alright guys, I am gonna end this episode here. Thank you once again for listening. Continue exploring and never give up in anything you are doing. For the live recording of this podcast, please visit our YouTube channel, Winter Scribbler. The link to the video and this episode transcript is now available in our website. To support us in creating more contents, be our patron and receive additional benefits with your membership, such as free books from our publishing company, behind-the-scenes videos, episodes, tutorials, and many other benefits linked to our sister company, Grapholistic International. I will see you in the next episode. Take good care of yourself. Bye.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Winter Scribbler Publishing, where reality and imagination turn into delicate harmony of scripts and illustrations. For any feedbacks and questions, email us at winterscribbler@gmail.com.